It takes a special person to come to the rescue of a family with nowhere to live. Luckily, Renee had Carla to turn to, but it's a short-term fix. The face of homelessness is changing. It's mums, dads and their kids, people with jobs who can pay rent, just can't find anywhere to live.
We are living off our friend's couch, mattresses on the floor in our lounge room. It's awful. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
A family of 4 with nowhere to turn, going to the mattresses.
Good night, Daddy.
Making a home on the floor of a friend's place, kids sleeping head to toe in a sad chapter of the Australian story.
And string on the cat. You see them on their bikes?
Yeah.
Mum Renee has a mattress, Dad Troy takes the couch. The couple's daughters, Amelia and Isabella, share a bed, while their pet Patches is stacked up against the wall.
I'm so lost right now that I don't know how to keep going, but I have 2 beautiful girls to think about at the end of the day, and that keeps us going, always.
Renee and Troy have been frantically flicking through real estate sites trying to find a rental after the owner of their old home gave them a 60-day vacation notice. The couple unable to put a number on how many of their applications have come back unsuccessful.
We've lost count, but I would say well over 60.
And the rejection is taking a toll.
It felt like we were being erased from the world. Little by little, everything around us was falling apart, and it almost felt like we weren't good enough as people to be contributing to society like everyone else. I just felt like we were nothing.
Fortunately, Renee, Troy and the girls were able to land on the front door of their friend Carla.
How's the search going?
Still haven't had anything yet?
No.
Carla has 3 kids of her own and was happy to take the family in. Carla, when you heard of Troy and Renee's situation, why did you decide to help?
Or just if we were in the same position, that we would hope that someone would reach out for us as well, so we're not living out in the streets in the cold.
How hard is the rental situation at the moment?
It is so hard because the amount of properties that are available, people are having to offer up to 6 months up in front just to be able to secure a place, and with families with young kids, they're struggling to raise enough savings for 1 month rent, let alone trying to offer 6 months rent just to secure a place.
Property expert Nerida Consonby from Ray White.
We are seeing a tough rental market everywhere in Australia. So whether you're looking in a capital city, in a regional area, we do have a shortage of rental properties everywhere.
In May, Victoria's Andrews government announced they would collect an extra $4.7 billion in taxes to repay COVID debts by increasing the tax on people who own an investment property.
All of these things make it far less favourable to own a rental property, and we know that around 90% of rental properties are owned by mum and dad investors. So if we start to see more of them exiting the market, it does mean that there'll be fewer properties available.
According to Nerida, rules are in place to protect renters from rental bidding and other dodgy practices.
Rental bidding is when somebody offers higher rent for a property and the person who has the rental property does look for someone who can pay an even higher rent. So it is illegal.
Meanwhile, desperate tenants are settling for properties like this one in Melbourne's west.
Yeah, I'd describe the property as terrible. Like, there's exposed asbestos, there's water everywhere, mould, the ceiling's falling in pretty much. There's a lot of things wrong. There's a lot of minimum standards that aren't met.
Geordie Vandenberg is a renters advocate and shows us a smoke detector that's quite alarming. Walls, exactly what they're cracked up to be, and duckboard floor patches covering an indoor waterway. Tenants here recently had the rent upped from $1,600 a month to $1,800.
At the end of the day, there's no way to justify a rent increase for a house in this condition.
At a park near Carla's, Troy and Renee are focusing on family time. They know life is full of ups and downs, but they wish our politicians would stop monkeying around with what matters, calling on our leaders to do something for families hoping to climb out of a tough spot. There's a lot of people in your position. What sort of help do you need?
Something has to be done. we need to change something. I feel like that's what the government's there for, isn't it? To look after your own and make sure everyone's doing okay. Make sure everyone has a fair chance at affordable living.
Despite all the talk from our politicians, there is no meaningful change coming anytime soon. The Albanese government's $10 billion affordable housing bill was tabled for the second time this morning. It won't reach the Senate until October and probably won't pass. Meantime, in the real world, people like Renee and her family suffer, relying on the kindness of others.